Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Tonight we are going to do some scenery practices. I'll put the reference photos that I'm using in the description box below. I'm using this, I bought this pad 3-4 years ago and I have only used one sheet out of it. So I thought tonight, it is a Colin Bradley Art Ingres pad and landscape, because this is, I mean, you can use the paper any way you want, but it is like, I forget what it's two different sides. There's a tooth and a smooth. Excellent, and it's excellent for pastel work or pencil work sanded. So this side, and it's kind of slight, like, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it on the camera, like gridded texture to it. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's a slight grid. It doesn't want to focus. And one side is super smooth and the other side is slightly textured. We're going to use the textured side. And I went ahead and pulled out some washi tape and taped off, and you don't have to do this if you just want to do one big piece, which I was going to do as well. We'll see how long this gets. You can do one big piece in either orientation, landscape, or portrait. And these as well, you don't have to do landscape. You can do portrait as well. I'm feeling landscapey today. And we're going to do chalks. Now there aren't really, I'm not going to do PDFs for this one, and this pad of paper was like 20 bucks and there's 30 sheets in it. So I'll try to find a link for it. I'm pretty sure I got it in an art box ages ago. Just don't remember. At any rate, we're going to play with it today, see what happens, see how textured it is. And we're going to do some pine tree landscapes in Conti and charcoal. I have out some vine chalks, some vines, which you can use for sketching. Usually I reserve these for like life drawing and stuff, but I have two of these out. I have a rag up here to set things on so they don't roll around, because this is my watercolor rag. I'm sorry it looks so terrible. But we're going to put that up there, kind of out of sight a little bit. I have a bunch of blending stumps in various sizes, just in case. I bought these at the art store last year, the year before, when there was a big sale. They were like 50 cents for a pack of them. And then I got an array of different tools out. I have Conti's, which are these skinny ones, and these are charcoal. I have black, gray, and white, and then I also have these are what Conti sticks look like, all like in one piece and pretty fresh. This one I've used a little bit, so it's worn, but I tend to break them into tiny bits just because they're easier for me to manage. And I tend to press too hard when I'm using them and they snap. This white one though seems particularly bulky, which is fine. And I don't remember where I got all this stuff. I've had it for years and years. If you have anything resembling this, pastels, you can use just graphite pencils if you want to. It does not have to be charcoals and Conti crayons. Any kind of pastel tool or graphite tool that you have will work perfectly. I just have this giant drawer, and in the effort of touching all the supplies, I have so much because there was a sale. Yeah, and I had a gift card, so I got a little crazy. Things were like 50 cents and $1 at the craft store. I got my eraser just in case I might want to pull up some bits here and there, but the thought is to make 4 individual little landscapes using just these colors and see how it goes. Let's see. We're gonna start with, I'm on Pixabay again. course I am. Where else would I be? Pixabay and Unsplash are my two go-tos for royalty-free photos to play with. I kind of like this one. This one is more of an illustration, and it's a vector, that's what it is. And I like the way it feels, so we're going to start there. I'm going to start with my Vine Charcoal. I'm going to scoot this guy over and maybe zoom in so you guys can see a little better what I'm doing. I'm going to start on this square. And I'm going to try to do this one and this one and then this one and this one. That's the plan. Because you'll drag across and make a mess with this stuff if you get too carried away. We have a river winding. And Vine Charcoals are super fine bits of, well, charcoal, but it's super light. I really haven't taken the time to look into what exactly it is, but it's a drawing tool. And it's fairly light, and you can use your other tools over the top of it pretty easily. I like the feel, the like graphic nature of this piece. Do this, like that. I'm sorry. It's late. I haven't even had dinner yet. I should probably eat something. And you could technically do your entire drawing with these Vine Charcoals. You don't have to use other tools either. If you have a bunch of Vine Charcoals and a pad of paper, you can do some really nice drawings. And they blend a bit, but mostly they just wipe off the page. Which is why they're good for planning, because you can get pretty detailed with them. We got a line of trees right about there. I'm getting too lost in details already. If we're going to do 4 of these, we should probably get hustling. So there's a river, and then there's the hillsides coming up from the river, as you saw. And then back here there is a light line of trees, and then there's even lighter hillside coming down here, and then coming up here like that-ish. Not exact, but pretty close. And then there's distant rolling hills back there, and a flat sky. So there we go. There's our little sketch. I'm going to go in with the chalk. Now, this looks super messy. If you would just wipe your chalks and charcoals off, for the most part, you can get them pretty back to clean. Just pro tip. A paper towel or a rag. And I have sandpaper as well, which you can get at the art store, and I will use that as well for getting a point or cleaning off a particularly grubby part. I'm gonna put the river in first so that I try to remember not to mess it up. And back to there. Like that. And you want to do your lines going like there's ripples and the water's moving back and forth this way. It helps convey the movement of the water. And then I'm going to take my Conti. Am I going to use it? I'll use the chalk first to get in. This is the charcoal, the black, to push in the front hills because they're the darkest. And then I'm going to use a blending stump, just this little dude, and push that chalk around. Try not to get it on the other squares. And I don't mind the paper peeking through at all. We might come back though and fill the tooth in the front after we get our back hills put in. And this is pretty free form. You don't have to stress too much about perfection, especially at this point. And I'm just using what's left on my blending stump, because there's quite a lot on there. There's quite a bit of residue on there. Instead of using your fingers and making a mess, essentially, which is how I roll. I feel a sneeze coming up. Ooh. Ooh. Spring has sprung, y'all. I'm going to drag a little bit of that white up into there and a little bit of that black down. Let's kind of lighten that back there. And then grab a little bit of that residue and do this side. And this is meant to be relaxing and fun. It's not meant to be high stress at all. I don't know if I'm digging the texture of this paper though. Like I said, I've never used it, so I don't know. It's meant for pastels and lots of layers, which I haven't done in forever. Like a really intense layered piece. Oh, I lost some of my lines, but that's okay. We can get them back. Like that. Good. Okay, let's grab that black again. And charcoal's super soft. Super soft. So it's gonna probably leave quite a bit down. I think we could use the texture for delineation between the different levels of hillside we've got going on. Like that. Oh, I'll take that. Leave this one dark, and then kind of texture this one back here. Good. And then maybe leave these ones light like that. And then I'm going to take my gray Conti and go over the top. Some different textures back there. And then this very back one can be gray as well. Like that. Good. Okay. Because we want a little bit of delineation between these hills and that back, the very back ones. And I did not practice this at all. I don't have a plan of action. This is me playing and really just getting on here and playing with the art supplies. How's it looking? Well, pretty cool actually. Alright, this is meant to be trees back here, so I'm going to use this and up and down like that. Yeah? Does it want to do it is the question. Probably not, so I'm going to get my fine charcoal out. Ooh, I like that texture. Okay, that works. I'm just using the flat tip of it and going up and down. That sound is absolutely terrible. Sorry about that. I mean, some people really like those kinds of sounds. They set my teeth on edge a little bit sometimes. So we've got trees back here. Get in this layer of trees over here. Oof! It's a terrible sound. Okay, I'll just drag that down, 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 and then trees. Just up and down, distant tree line. Ta-da! Okay. And then let's do the gray chalk. See how light that is. It's a little too light. That's okay though, we can layer. So do a layer of gray on these two like closer hillsides like that. And then maybe over the top with black. Like that. I know it looks really messy, but it will come together. Promise. Let's get these hills in. That. Now, pro tip, don't blow on your paper. Get another sheet of paper or a box or a can or a rag and just gently tap it off so that you're not blowing the dust into the house. You don't want to breathe all that. Maybe you do. I don't want to breathe all that. We have I'm sorry, that shakes the whole table. I am going to get, it is on my list to get a sturdier table. I think I got this table when I moved into the apartment for like $120. It's definitely, you know, not going to get rid of it or anything, but well, there we go. That looks awesome. Okay, and then I'm just going to use the residue to put in the distant smoky hills back there like that. Good. And then to balance this out just a skosh, I'm going to put white in the sky like that. Okay, and then blend that out with a bigger blending tool. Think of these as black and white pictures or photos. Playing without color. I have a hard time with that one. I really like to add, like right now, I really want to add some blue. Just a touch, just a bit to the sky and the water to make it pop and have a I mean, we could. I don't have a blue out, but I could go grab one. What do you guys think? Should we grab a little bit of blue and let's finish up the other ones and then we'll see if we want to grab an accent color and really, I'm going over this with the gray Conti Crayon to kind of create a little bit of river-like textures and shadows, like so. Mostly in the foreground. There. Okay. And that's that one. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. We have an icy river and hilltops and trees and mountains, right? And we don't mind the maybe some more definition on some of our back trees. Make them look more tree-like. And they're just scribble marks because the distance. It doesn't have to be an actual tree. It could just be a blob that looks like a tree. Ta-da! My tree blobs. There we go. There's that guy. So there's a distant one. Let's do a more, these two will be like close-up ones, and then these two will be like long distance views. Let me save this reference photo so that I don't forget. And let's go back. And let's choose this one. This one is also a vector, which is black and white, which is awesome, and it is kind of up close. So I'm going to, it's a snow scene. It's a snow scene. We have white. We're going to block in some white on the entire thing, like this. See? Wishing for that blue now, right? Grab the blending stump and kind of smooth it out gently, not pressing too hard. Want a little bit of an even coat, but we don't want to like fill the entire tooth yet. Just get a little snowy. Maybe there's a snowstorm. Who knows, right? And I would love to see what you guys come up with these photos. If you want to do a little grid and maybe do some ink sketching and drop in some watercolor in your watercolor workbooks, or what else could you do with all these? You could do a line work and drop in some. All right, what do I want to do here? I'm gonna go in with the Conti Crayon and put in my first tree, which is going to be right here. One of my favorite things to do is line and wash. Line and then get all your line work done and splash just any color on top. And it suddenly gives it a whole new, different life. Now for this tree, I'm painting kind of like the negative space, the shadowy bits. We don't want to, and we'll come back over with a crisper, brighter white, right, for the snow parts. There's that one. And then we're going to put another one here in the foreground. A shorter one, a little one. It's on this plane right here, and that's on the back plane back there. And I'm not quite sure if I'm using gray to differentiate that yet or not. We'll make that decision in a hot second. We're going to drop in our tree. And don't worry if you get too much black going on, because you can go over it with the white chalk. And it doesn't have to be exact. And then maybe a teensy baby tree right here on the same plane. And it lives right there. A happy little tree, as Bob Ross would say. And then in the background, back here, we'll do the suggestion of a couple of trees. That in the background. And they'll become more plain when we put on our darker, well, our more intense white. Alright, so we'll take this Conti and do a little landscapey sweeps. The snow is going to sweep like that. And then this one is here. Like that. Okay, now more white. Which one's white? I forget this one. And really intensify that white. And if it gets too dirty, just scrub it off. And here's where I definitely want a little bit of blue in that sky back there. that guy. We also have our Kneaded Eraser. If you've got some stuff going on that you don't really enjoy, a Kneaded Eraser will help, or you get too much black going on, will help pick it up. You don't want to smudge it around too much, but it'll help pick up some of that residue. And then you can go back over the top like that. Oh, I almost blew on it. Oh, I made such a mess the last time I played with these. I mean, a huge mess. I made a really big mess. Okay. Am I liking this or not really? My white trees have turned black. Ooh. Maybe I need to use the harder, more firm Conti crayon. Contis are really hard. They're more of a kind of along the lines of pencils rather than like for hardness rather than a chalk. But they're a nice little tool to have in your arsenal, especially for sketching. Like I mostly use them for like life drawing, but I figured why not get them out and really play with them doing a winter scene or nature scenes rather. That snow in there. That. Definitely looks wintry, right? And then I'll use the corner and just kind of fill in the spots where there aren't, like the negative space of the trees back here, like that. Ta-da! That's not too bad. Let's put a little bit of smoky gray, maybe. Where do we want our gray? Not really on the snow, maybe under the trees. Like so. How's that? Might have obliterated it a bit. Get in here and futz about with some shadow stuff going on. Do we want to do that? I think we do. There. And then just a bit there. Some there. Touch there. And some underneath. Yeah, that helps. Okay. I should have done the white first, you guys. Lesson learned. Don't do what I did. Do your white part first and then put your shadowy bits on. And then maybe try to intensify some of those whites. I don't think that's going to work anymore, but that's okay. Doesn't need to be perfect. And we'll call that, oops, I got gray in there. Whoopsie daisy. And we'll just go over that with white. It's a snowy scene. Got some gray in there. That's alright. It's a cloud. It's a happy accident, dang it. I'm going to smooth out. Maybe if we smooth out the sky, I was saying before my rude camera interrupted me. It'll make those trees stand out a bit. Whoops. We got another cloud right there. See that? It's alright. There we go. Tap, tap, tap. That's not bad. It's just not amazing. Okay. Next. Let's go back to the collection. I have a collection of tree pictures that I picked for this little endeavor. Oh, this one's cool. I mean, it's a sunset picture, but we don't have to treat it as such. Or we could. We could, actually. Another close-up one, so we'll put it over here. We've got a little bit of grassy stuff happening here. Like that. And then we're going to put a kind of big tree right here. There's our tree trunk. And these are all pines. I've got on a pine kick. I don't know what happened. That's just where I'm at right now. I was in my nature sketchbook and decided to do a pine cone, and of course everything kind of exploded from there. And put in our get our tree all sketched in, and he's all the way down to the ground like that. We enjoy him. He's cool. And trees, pine trees especially, can be squiggly lines, dashes. Don't think of it as a tree. Think of the shapes that you see. Not all pine trees are triangular either. Some of them have bald spots. Some of them have really prominent trunks. Some have trunks that just show up here and there. Like that. Pretty cool. And then we're going to put another one kind of off the side over here. This guy is about as tall. Well, he's even with this one, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just make it a little smaller. And we're going to put him back here. And he can kind of scooch off the page. Like that. Fill in the space a bit. Like that. Swoopy line. Line direction matters when you're drawing these trees. Some of the pine trees, like these guys, they're especially with snow on them, they bow down like that. Some of them do the happy face thing, like they have little smiles. That's what I choose to see. And some have needles that point kind of straight out from the trunk, like their branches are right straight out. And then we have hillsides in the background, and then a glowy sky. So let's put in, because we'll learn our lesson, right? Let's put in our glowy sky. Just drop in some white, like that. Between those branches. And the vines are not, like, they'll disappear more quickly when you draw over the top of them rather than pick up and bleed around, which is nice. And just get that glow in, because it's a sunset sky. Let's try to convey that in a black and white setting here. Like that. And then maybe some gray up here. Like that. Good. And I think I'm going to take my vine and I'm going to drop in some soft hills back here in the distance. See that texture, that paper bleeding through? We're going to put black on these trees and make them really pop, like silhouetted. But let's put in our hills back here first. that. And then our foreground is grasses. But I don't know that we're going to be able to convey that exactly, but put that there. Alright, then I'm going to take the gray charcoal, this foreground, to differentiate the foreground from the tree bottoms. Don't want to completely lose my trees. Like that. And then maybe just a skosh of black down here. Kind of swooping up like that. Yeah, I dig that. Okay. Let's let the texture of the paper do some of the work for us. And then gray. Soften that hill back there. Let's soften this one. This. That. Are we digging that? I think I am. I'm going to do just a touch of black in the sky like that. And this one was what we were using to blend the white before. So we'll blend that a bit. Not all the way, not completely. Just a bit up into the gray. And here, like that. Up, up, up. Oh, got some black in there. And then kind of sweep those out and away. Like that. Turn your stump. Maybe put some more white on top. Just soften them. There we go. We have clouds in our sunset sky. Huh. I did it. Ha ha ha. Pretty cool. Alright, I dig it. Now I'm going to tap this off again. Tap, 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 tap. And then I think I would like to use the hard Conti Crayon and try and make our foreground a little more bold, like that. Get our hillside more defined. Like that. Good. Okay. Maybe a little more blending. Kind of softens it, and the softer it is, the more distant it looks. And if you leave the details, they kind of look like they're more grasses in the foreground. I dig it. And we're going to take our black and we're going to go over and do our silhouetted trees. And remember, you don't have to do all of it, just the suggestion. And your mind's eye will put together with the rest. She says as she does almost all of it. But that looks awesome. Okay, I think this one's my favorite so far. See, and that happens with practice too. The more you do, the better you get. Learn a few things like don't layer that way, layer this way. With chalks, you might want to layer light to dark, like watercolors, right? I'm going to stop fussing with that. I like it the way it is. I think it looks neat. I'm going to tap it off, and then we're going to do our last square, which is going to be a scene, like a distant scene like this. That's in there now. Let's do Actually, that one's pretty cool. This one I just did a watercolor painting of. It's another vector. But I did I've actually painted this one several times. I've drawn it, I've painted it, I've watercolored it, I've taken this reference photo and tweaked it into many different ways. First thing I'm going to do, yeah, we'll use this, is sketch in my mountain. We have a mountain right here. I'm not going to use the whole photo because it'll get super confusing in this tiny space. But basically we have a mountain going like that. And then there's some peaks over here with other mountainy type shapes. We have this big snowy field right there. And then we have the darker side on here, like that. And then there are hill shapes in the foreground, or in the mid-grade. So there's the sky, and then there's the background, which is your mountain way in the distance, right? And then we're going to put in our other smaller mountainy type peak right here, like that. And then let that go up like that. There we go. And then we can put our mid-ground hills, like those hills that flow into a valley. Ooh, my phone. Aha. Almost got away with doing a whole video without my phone going off. We'll do that. And this is just all with the vine charcoal to start. And then in the foreground, we're going to do up and down trees. All up will be our forest of trees. So let's get our sky going in with the white. I mean, it is a gradation from dark to light, but I want our snow to be super bright, so we're going to just do a soft grazing like that, and we'll take our blending stump and make it nice and soft. Try and make it a little bit even on this weird textured paper. I'm kind of aching to do an in-depth pencil drawing on this with my colored pencils. Ooh, maybe that'll be my next fun Friday. We could do a colored pencil piece together. Those take forever. Just, you know, a heads up. If you don't want a really long video, you should probably let me know sooner rather than later, because colored pencil pieces. We can do like a bird or something. We'll do a bird. We'll do a hummingbird or a kingfisher, because I love drawing birds. And we can do it on this weird sanded paper and see how that turns out together. Probably once again won't bother with a practice piece, just because I don't really do that very much. I don't practice. This is practice for me. This is me practicing. I am doing the sketchbooks, of course, but those are get those snowy mountain tips in there. That looks good. And on this side of this one, nice little valley of snow, and then some scrapings of snow on this side. This is our shadow side, so we're going to put gray on this side. Kind of tone it down. That. Good. Then we'll take our gray charcoal and kind of drag it on top of that white. Leave some white space. Get that ridge line more defined, like that. That looks cool. Remember, there's bounced light and reflected light. You don't have to fill in the whole space. Get our drop in those distant mountains. Oh, that looks so cool. This is very satisfying. In case anyone's wondering. Now we're going to do I'm going to leave these textured, our hills. I really like how that looks. I'm going to take our hard Conti crayon in the black, and maybe we should do charcoal first because it's too hard. Yeah, there we go. Make this dark right here on the bottom. And then put in some trees. Just drag a few points up out of your dark area and leave some of that brown if you want to. Some of the white of the paper. It doesn't all have to be filled in. That could be like interesting, more foreground area, like that. The valley where the light's shining in. And these trees are our forest that we're standing in, overlooking the valley, right? Like that. And then we can get some more definitive shapes with our harder crayon here. Maybe back and forth lines like that. Make it look more pine tree-y. I like the dark black better, especially over that white. Maybe this one will be way in the foreground right here. Right? There's that guy. He lives way up here in the front. And this guy can live right here, like that. Are we digging it? Is anybody really liking these or not? Nah. Alright, I wanna blend in I'm gonna use the tip of my finger and just blend this edge right here and make it more of a line, more even. We're gonna tap it off. Tap, tap, tap. And there we go. We have four drawings. I'm gonna wipe off I have some water here. I'm gonna wipe off my fingers because I'm a disaster right now. Paper towel. Alright, so as to not completely fudge up our drawing. Most of the debris is wiped off. Okay, let's peel our tape. So satisfying. Okay. And this reference photo has birds in it, and you could do that too. You could add birds to your paintings. You could add an elk or a deer, just a little shape in the background. That'd be neat. And then this guy. Oh, those crisp lines. Super satisfying. Let's do this bottom one. And you can spray this with fixative. Oops. And, oh, that's unfortunate. Come on. You want to. There we go. Oof, that crisp line. And charcoal cleans up pretty easy. I'll show you in a hot minute. Get all this tape off me. You could spray it with fixative before you peel your tape as well. Like wait till, well, for me now, because it's almost 11 o'clock at night. Morning. It's going to be nice out tomorrow, so I'll take this out tomorrow and spray it with workable fixative. And then I say workable fixative because you can go over your piece after, because fixative makes your piece darker. It doesn't matter what other people say. It does. If you spray a fixative on your piece, it's going to make it all a little darker. And maybe if I remember, I'll video that so you guys can see it. Just try to gently clean up the residue. There we go. But the workable fixative is really nice if you don't mind your piece being a little bit dark. Not a lot, just, but definitely noticeable. You can go over the top of it and brighten up your brights again if they get a little too subdued for you. I'm gonna spin this because I'm gonna make a mess out of the whole piece. There we go. Like that. There we go. And there we go. There is our 4 landscape chalk pieces in black and white-ish. And I don't really feel like they need blue now, although it would look awesome. A little bit of blue in the sky and touches of reflections. Same there. Little touch of blue back there. And maybe a bit in this sky too. Yeah, it'd be nice, but I like it how it is. I really, really do. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, look for the reference photos in the description below. There'll be 4 of them. 3 are vectors and 1 is an actual photograph. It gives you a little bit of freedom to interpret your reference material in a different way. You can use vectors and shapes and create your own scenes. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it, especially for practicing. Thank you so much for watching if you stuck around through this whole video. I really appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not subscribed. Every Friday I do an actual real-time tutorial and try to do a step-by-step. And thank you for watching. Yeah, I think I'm done. I'm gonna stop now. Bye.